रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वाहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम सुब्हानल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि वला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वल्लाहु अकबर वला हौला वला कुव्वता इल्ला बिल्लाहिल अलिय्यिल अज़ीम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व अला आलि मुहम्मद अल्लाहुम्मा हसिबना हिसाबन यसीरा. Okay guys, in this video I will derive the natural differential equations of inertia and gravitation. Okay, let's perform some derivations to deepen our understanding of gravity and relativity. Just as Arabic numerals and mathematics lose meaning without zero, gravitation is meaningless without the inertial frame. In essence, inertia and gravitation are intertwined much like zero and Arabic numerals are interconnected. For the sake of clarity, we will consider the hypothetical case of inertial body moving with uniform velocity v in a straight line as shown in the figure 3 below. We will develop the complete set of Tahirian differential equations of inertial motion once and forever in this video. Okay, so this is figure 3. So the body is traveling in straight line like this, but only a small portion CD is discussed. So the body is supposed to go from C to D with constant velocity v and travels distance vt in time t. Time is represented in capital letters. When I upload videos on relativity, I will show you why I took this time in capital letter. Tahir universal law of inertia and gravitation, the equivalence of frames. We see in the above figure that if we let the body move along the straight line path CD for an interval of time t, then the distance traveled is Vt. Considering triangle OCD and applying theorem dl-Cauchy, which is also known as law of cosines, we note that OD square blah 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 is equal to this. Differentiating the above equation with respect to t, we obtain this. H2 is a variable, so it will be differentiated with respect to t. Okay, now putting the limits when t tends to 0. T tends to 0 means when d goes back to C. Tends to C becomes instantaneous, and noting the fact that R is equal to R plus H1. Just like differentiation. dr over dt is a different, more delicate way of differentiating an equation. dr over dt is equal to dh1 over dt. We obtain r dr over dt is equal to 0 minus rv cos alpha. R dr over dt is equal to minus rv cos alpha. Okay, so dr over dt is equal to minus v cos alpha. Tahir angle in Tahir principle of inertia and gravitation. Trajectories of Tahirian projectiles. Okay, so this angle is Tahir angle beta. Okay, I have just shown this gravitating mass in figure 3, but actually the gravitational effect of this mass is screened from going to this body. That's why the body travels in matter-free space in a straight line with a constant velocity. Otherwise it will be pulled towards the gravitating mass. So for the sake of inertial motion, we have to screen the gravitating effect of the gravitating body. The ones shown in a circle in figure 3. Okay, let me make a change of angle from alpha to beta by the al-Cauchy identity. These trigonometric identities were all developed by Muhammad Ghiyasuddin Jamshed al-Cauchy and other Muslim scholars, thereby getting dr over dt is equal to v sine beta, because cos alpha is equal to sine beta and sine alpha is equal to cos beta. I mean, for the time being, sine alpha is equal to cos beta, not vice versa. I don't know. I haven't checked it. dr of dt is equal to v sine beta, where 0 is less than greater than beta and less than 90 degree, less than or equal to 90 degree. Actually, alpha is equal to pi by 2 plus minus beta for both cases of mass going away from the gravitating mass and mass coming towards the gravitating mass. I have considered the mass going away from the gravitating mass in the above derivation in figure 3. So Tahir field equation becomes dr over dt is equal to v sine beta and r d theta over dt is equal to v cos beta is equal to r omega, where omega is the angular speed in radians per second. Okay, now this I will derive now. Now differentiating the above equation once again and the second time with respect to t, we obtain blah blah blah. Now putting the limits once again, that is when t tends to 0 or d comes back to c. h2 tends to h1, and noting the fact that r is equal to r plus h1, dr over dt is equal to dh over 1 over dt. Guys, this is not metaphysics. This is the nature with which Allah Kareem, the Supreme, has created the universe around us. We obtain r d square r over dt square plus blah 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 blah. So we eventually obtain d square r over dt square is equal to v square cos square beta over r. Tahir equation of inertia is d square r over dt square is equal to v square cos square beta over r. Now, in order to derive the third fundamental Tahitian equation of inertial motion, we need to consider figure 3 once again as below. Area of triangle OCD is equal to A is equal to half RVT sine alpha. Differentiating with respect to t, we obtain this h over 2. For uniform motion trajectory of a body, h is always a constant in an inertial frame because it contains all the constant parameters, so its value is always constant throughout the trajectory in uniform straight line. So for uniform trajectory of a body, okay, so Tahit third universal equation of inertial motion is 2 dA over dt is equal to RV cos beta is equal to h is equal to cos. In summary, we considered everything about inertial motion. We find that Tahit's three equations of inertial comprehensively describe our immediate, albeit hypothetical, nature. We will see next that the selection of coordinate time t for inertial motion where proper time t prime is the clock's time of the clock ticking slow above was not wrong. I'll make you understand when I do upload videos on relativity. Just forget it now. Tahir universal equations of inertial motion, dr over dt is equal to v sine beta, d square r over dt square is equal to minus v square cos square beta over r is equal to 0. h is equal to rv cos beta. Hopefully after a few videos I will upload videos on relativity. And then from there we will find the precession of the perihelion of Pluto and its partner planet, which general theory of relativity failed to find in the few next videos, in coming videos, where alpha is equal to pi by 2 plus beta. Okay, we have so far got the two equations as below. Dr over dt is equal to v sine beta d square r over dt square minus v square cos square beta over r is equal to 0, where h is equal to rv cos beta. Okay. We see that if we differentiate the first equation with respect to t, then we obtain the same equation as below. If we differentiate this equation, dr over dt is equal to v sine beta, we get this one. How? You can check here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the aforementioned three Tahir equations are significantly more sophisticated, elegant, and above all, meaningful than the entirety of gravitational physics of my era. Essentially, I have managed to develop the inertial equivalents of gravitation through Tahir's principle of instantaneity or interconvertibility. Subhanallahi walhamdulillahi wala ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka hamidum majid. Allahumma sibna hisaban yasira. Thanks for watching.